Crypto was never meant to be a religion. But somewhere along the way, it became one. When people stop asking how things work and start worshipping why they believe, the system is already in danger. And right now, I can feel that danger building again. The charts may look stable, the headlines sound confident, but behind the illusion of order, there's turbulence. Because markets don't crash when people are scared, they crash when people feel safe. I've seen this pattern before. In every revolution, cars, rockets, energy, AI, there's always a moment when excitement blinds logic. Crypto is entering that phase again. Everyone's celebrating the rebound, the new bull run, the future of finance. But few are asking the real question. What if this isn't a recovery, but the setup for the next collapse? When the last crash hit, people blamed scammers, exchanges, and bad actors. But that was never the full story. The truth is, the system didn't fail because of fraud, it failed because of faith. Too much of it. Human psychology hasn't changed in 1,000 years. We keep building new systems, new tools, new dreams, but we still fall for the same illusion. That something can rise forever. And when belief replaces understanding, when greed replaces purpose, collapse is inevitable. The next crypto fall won't look like the last one. It'll be smarter, faster. Driven not by panic, but by precision. Powered by algorithms that don't sleep and investors who don't think. So before we talk about charts or coins or predictions, I want to talk about something more important. Why it's human nature to destroy what we love most. Because to understand the next crypto collapse, we have to understand ourselves first. When the last crypto crash hit, the world acted surprised. People screamed, unfair, unpredictable, unexpected. But it wasn't, not at all. Every bubble looks solid from the inside. Every generation believes their system is immune. Until it breaks, exactly the same way as before. Let's rewind to the chaos. Billions lost overnight. Investors who called themselves visionaries suddenly disappeared. Platforms once praised for innovation turned into cautionary tales. And the loudest voices in the room fell silent. But behind the panic, there was something deeper, a lesson humanity keeps refusing to learn. Crypto didn't collapse because the technology was weak. It collapsed because people turned innovation into ideology. They stopped building. They started believing. And belief, when it's blind, is the most dangerous form of currency. You see, systems like Bitcoin, Ethereum, they were never meant to make people rich overnight. They were designed to decentralize control, to free value from manipulation. Yet, somewhere along the road, freedom became greed. Purpose became price. People didn't invest in technology, they invested in hype. The same way they once invested in .com names that meant nothing, only this time. It was digital coins. And when the hype grows faster than the understanding, collapse is not a possibility. It's a countdown. After the last fall, I looked at the data. Every crash followed the same emotional curve: euphoria, arrogance, denial, panic, despair. You can't code your way out of human emotion. You can only delay it. The lesson? Crypto didn't betray anyone. It simply reflected who we are, dreamers who forget that dreams without discipline become delusion. And if history has a voice, it's whispering the same message again. We didn't fix the problem, we just changed its shape. There's a new kind of player entering the crypto world, one far more powerful, far more organized, and infinitely more dangerous. Governments. You see, the next collapse might not come from reckless traders or fragile exchanges. It might come from control. When nations realized that crypto could rewrite the rules of money, they didn't try to destroy it. They tried to copy it. Central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, are the government's answer to decentralization. But they're not built for freedom. They're built for management. Imagine the irony. The system designed to escape control is now being reabsorbed by it. Crypto was born out of rebellion. CBDCs are born out of regulation. And that's the real risk. Because once governments enter the game, the playing field is no longer free, it's programmed. People believe regulation will stabilize the market. But history says otherwise. When you mix innovation with politics, the result isn't stability. It's manipulation. The next crash may not be a financial collapse, it could be a collapse of trust. A war between those who believe in code and those who believe in control. When nations start using digital currencies as tools of influence, not innovation, the true value of crypto will be tested. Not in price charts, but in principles. And Elon Musk's warning becomes clear. When systems built for freedom become tools of control, collapse isn't a failure, it's a reset. This isn't just about money anymore. It's about who gets to define it. And as the world stands on the edge of another digital gold rush, one truth remains. Every empire, whether built on coins, code, or control, eventually faces the same fate. Not destruction. Reinvention. Every system that falls leaves behind a blueprint for something stronger. Look at history. The dot-com bubble wiped out thousands of companies, but from its ashes came Amazon, Google, and the architecture of the internet we live in today. The crash wasn't the end. It was a filter. Crypto will face the same fate. Elon Musk believes the next collapse isn't a tragedy, it's an evolution. A necessary purification. 90% will vanish. But the survivors will redefine the future of money. Think about that for a moment. Most coins will disappear, not because of failure, but because they never had purpose to begin with. Meme coins, pump projects, blind speculation, they're the noise of innovation. And collapse, ironically, is how innovation silences the noise. What remains afterward is something cleaner, leaner, and smarter, systems backed not by hype, but by real-world value. And Musk hints at where that value will come from. Not data. Not promises. Energy. The next true currency, he once said, won't be digital, it'll be powered. Imagine a world where money is directly tied to energy, measurable, transferable, and verifiable through technology. A network that rewards creation, not speculation. Where wealth comes not from owning tokens, but from producing power. That's not science fiction. That's the direction innovation is already heading, from Bitcoin mining using renewable energy to AI systems optimizing grid output. Crypto may fall, but energy-backed currency could rise in its place. So perhaps this next collapse is not the death of an idea, but the birth of a smarter one. Because every crash in history follows the same law of nature. Destruction, right-pointing arrow, adaptation, right-pointing arrow, rebirth. And this time, the rebirth won't be financial, it will be philosophical. It's strange, isn't it? Every generation believes they're different. That this time, they've built a system too advanced to fail. But technology changes faster than human nature. And human nature is stubborn. Greed disguises itself as optimism. Fear hides behind data. And arrogance, it wears the mask of innovation. We've seen this before, the tulip mania of the 1600s. The stock bubbles of the 20th century. The internet boom of the 2000s. Every time, the story begins with vision and ends with illusion. Crypto is just the latest chapter in an ancient book, the story of human belief. Elon Musk often says, technology can't fix human behavior, it can only expose it. Crypto didn't collapse because it failed. It collapsed because it succeeded too well at amplifying emotion, hope, fear, greed, in real time. Blockchain didn't just record transactions. It recorded human psychology. And here's the paradox. Even after the next collapse, people will still come back. They always do. Because what drives us isn't logic, it's the endless desire to believe in something bigger than ourselves. And maybe that's not a flaw. Maybe that's what keeps us evolving. Every collapse clears the field for new minds, new builders, new dreamers. Those who learn from the fall rise higher. Those who chase shortcuts vanish. So, when Elon Musk predicts another crypto collapse, he's not warning of destruction. He's reminding us of the cycle. That collapse is not the opposite of progress, it's the cost of it. The people who understand this, who see beyond panic, will be the ones shaping what comes next. Because the real investment isn't in coins. It's in consciousness. And if there's one lesson history keeps teaching, it's this. We never truly lose everything. We just start again, wiser, faster, stronger. The easiest thing to do in any revolution is to watch. To stand on the sidelines, make predictions, and place bets on systems, on prices, on outcomes. That's what most people do. But the future doesn't belong to spectators. It belongs to builders. When I look at crypto, I don't see failure. I see a test. One humanity keeps failing because we confuse participation with creation. We cheer for innovation, but we rarely contribute to it. We talk about decentralization, but we still wait for someone else to lead. That's the real collapse, not of money, but of imagination. Don't bet on systems, build them. That's the mindset that changes the world. It's what built Tesla, SpaceX, and every company that people once said was impossible. Not luck, not faith, engineering. The truth is, no system, crypto, AI, government, or even civilization, is permanent. Everything breaks eventually. The only thing that survives is the intelligence that learns from the wreckage. That's what separates investors from innovators. One waits for patterns. The other creates them. When the next crypto collapse happens, and it will, some people will panic. Others will watch. But a few will build. They'll use what's left, the code, the data, the failures, and they'll design something stronger. Something that connects value not to greed, but to creation itself. The future of currency isn't digital or physical. It's intellectual. It's powered by curiosity, creativity, and courage. Because when Elon Musk warns about collapse, he isn't spreading fear. He's issuing a challenge. He's saying, if you truly believe in the idea of crypto, then stop trading and start building. Every revolution needs its fall, the moment that separates believers from creators. And when that moment comes, the real question won't be, how much did you lose? It'll be, what did you learn? Because in the end, markets recover. Coins rise again. But understanding, true, earned understanding, never collapses. So if you want to survive the next crypto crash, don't worship systems. Design them. Don't chase hype. Chase purpose. Because money, in all its forms, is temporary. But intelligence endures. And maybe that's the point. Maybe the greatest investment of all is in the mind that never stops asking why.